Okay, peeps, we are back. It took way more than 2 hours because Anna made a proverbial mess in the kitchen trying to make the liver. So anyway, word to the wise, don't try to cook up 4 containers or 5 containers or 6 containers of liver in one day. But anyway, making notes, so don't do that again. This is the last batch. What I did was I took flour and breaded it, put it in this pan, which looks absolutely horrid. But anyway, I used an egg batter first, which I whisked like 3 eggs together, dipped the liver in the egg, then dipped it in a flour, nutmeg, poultry seasoning blend. Then I tossed it into the pan. My first batch, I used some chives. My second and third batches of liver, I'm just using cilantro because I'm a little low on the chives. And I also took, these are the little stir fries, aren't they adorable? And then I took my greens that I'd already cooked up because I'm exhausted and I do not want to have to cook up the arugula right now. I might later today, but I still have to practice my Korean lesson. So I'm like, I gotta watch that 3 times before tomorrow at 9 a.m. So anyway, it might not happen today. The arugula might just go in the fridge. But this is the Swiss chard I cooked up earlier. I just topped it with that. And then I've already got some liver cooked up. And it looks absolutely delicious. Gonna have a lid on the top. I'm just letting it cool in the fridge. I also froze like literally a week's worth already in some little tuppers in the freezer. And this is just gonna kind of cook. When you cook liver, word to the wise, I used a half butter, half canola oil. You can use coconut, which would be healthier. And get a spoon or a spatula that you can scrape the bottom because you are definitely going to need it with the flour. You can also use a gluten-free flour if you're trying to do gluten-free. For me, I just use like an unbleached all-purpose regular flour. And you could also use whole wheat. I don't do well with whole wheat flour. I don't know why. I'm one of those rare people who I just do not adjust well to it. My body doesn't like the whole wheat. I do fine if it's like an unbleached all-purpose flour, but for some reason whole wheat does not agree with me. So with that in mind, I just don't really try to use it very often. I also don't eat that much whole wheat bread. I eat multi-grain or like some that's like half wheat, half white. Also, when I cook these up again, like when I pull these out of the fridge to cook up in my pan, at that point I am going to use this. This is asafoetida. It smells kind of weird if you're not used to it. It smells kind of like fried onion. I really don't know another smell that it is like. The reason I use this is I just put like a pinch, like literally just a tiny pinch in with my food when I cook it up. The reason is asafoetida is really good for the digestive tract and digestive system. If you have trouble with being woozy or, just not feeling very good sometimes, then the best way to take care of that, in my opinion, it's really easy and super fast, is just put a little asafoetida in your food. If you do that, you typically don't have trouble. Like for me, if I don't put asafoetida in my food, I can only eat about half of a stir fry, and then I get woozy and I don't eat the rest of my meal, and I try to drink my protein smoothies instead for the rest of the day. That's probably not the best of plans because you do need fiber, you do need the vegetables. If you have the asafoetida, it typically makes it so that I don't have trouble getting woozy when I eat regular food. So with that in mind, when I do cook these up again just to reheat them for breakfasts or brunches, I'm just going to put a little bit of the asafoetida powder in it. Also, memory is really tricky for me sometimes, so I put it right beside my stove so I remember, oh, and actually I'm putting it on top of my stove because I completely forgot about this last week and couldn't eat like normal because I didn't put that powder in, and you definitely can tell a difference when you do and when you don't. So it also has multiple health benefits. I believe some people use it kind of like a supplement. I'm not very up on what they use it for or how, except it's good for digestion. And with that in mind, that's why I'm going to put in. I'm not cooking the food in it because it does have a very distinct flavor, and letting that set for a long period of time, like in a freezer or in a fridge, because I will put this in the fridge and I will probably eat this within the week, but I'm not going to, you know, probably eat it in the next 2 days. Because of that, I don't want that asafoetida setting there and marrying with the flavor and making it taste really strong of asafoetida. And with that in mind, I'm just going to pop it in when I cook it up in the fry pan. And that's the only thing. And that is our stir fry of chicken liver with vegetables. At the end of the day, peeps, we had bell peppers that were sweet, mini peppers that were sweet. We had broccoli, we had carrots, we had bok choy, we had Swiss chard, we had onion, and we have cilantro or chives. So we have literally 8 vegetables per serving of food here. In addition, when I cook this up to serve it, I'm probably going to make up rice in my rice cooker. I just saw an absolutely awesome video which has totally revolutionized the way I cook rice now. I'm going to drop a link in the description when I put this video up for posting. The woman in the video makes it for her kids, but all she does is she takes a typical rice cooker, puts rice in it, and then she drops 4 raw eggs in with the rice. The reason she does this is it actually makes the rice kind of like a sticky rice, and you can patty it up if you like. I did this with some chicken soup mixed in that had actual chicken pieces in it, and then I made these little rice balls. It was absolutely divine, peeps. And it really kind of just adds to your meal. Like, you can put the stir fry on one side, the rice balls on the other, or if you want, you can put the rice underneath. Whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to drop a link in the description to her rice because it was super simple. Absolutely love the rice with that egg kind of scramble in there with the, I use chicken broth. The reason I use the chicken broth, if I have it, or broth of some kind, is A, it kind of flavors the rice, and B, it adds nutrients that you wouldn't have by just cooking the rice in plain water. So that's the 2 reasons. Also, you can cook it up in beef broth, or use like a beef or chicken bouillon if you don't have the broth, so you have that flavor. And that is the end of this recording. Bye! Bon appetit!